Hi, tubers. Thank you for stopping by again. So the recap is about to begin on this B77 Mark II. So I thought I'd point something out to you. This is especially for the newbies who are about to embark on this restoration themselves. So my approach is I will be doing the recap in the power supply first. The book tell you that, I mean, when I say the book, I mean the service manual tells you that you should remove the power, the entire power supply, including the transformer. And in order to do that, you should remove the reel table and remove the brakes all at once, so that you can get to these screws here. The screws, there are 4 screws, one, 2, 3 in this hole and in here. But if you're lazy, you can get away without taking off the brake. You could just remove these screws and just push a long screwdriver in there and take it out. But you have to be careful, because sometimes the screw in this section here will drop inside and you cannot get it out without removing the brakes. You know, so it's a catch-22 there. So it has happened to me before. I got lazy and I did that, and it took me a while. I got to, you know, do some maneuvering to get the screws out, which it would be much easier if I had just gone and taken off the brakes. Okay, so another way I get around not removing the entire power supply is to remove these boards, the capstan board and the power supply and the tape drive board. And there are 4 screws, 1, 2, and 2 behind here. So you got to use a long screwdriver to get back there. And you can just remove it that way, right? So that's how I'm going to approach it this time. But I've gone through many decks where I just remove the entire thing, especially if I have to change the motor run caps. These 3 back here, I just remove everything, and everything just drops out, and that gives me full access of everything. But this time I'm going to do something a little different. So this is just a tip for you guys. Some might want to do it, some might not. This lazy Susan keep moving every time. So what I have to do is put something underneath it to kind of like give me some friction. This is not even too, this is still too small. That should do it. Okay. Oh, this whole thing will just fall off. Where you can get, where I can get easy access to the caps. See that? Much easier. Then I just screw this off and just get on with it. Yeah, so I thought I'd just give you a little tip on how to do this. Yeah, quite easy. Otherwise, you just have to pull out the entire thing, and you know you don't really have to do that. Yeah. So I'm just gonna start recapping this. I just have to wait on the parts to come in, and then I'll get on with it. All right, that's a tip of the day. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so another thing I do when I'm doing a recap is this. If you notice, the boards are not marked, so you don't know what the polarities are on these caps, right? So what I do is take a marker and I mark the plus end of each cap. So I do that on every single board, and with all the tantalum caps also. I go through and I just put a little plus to identify which lead goes where. Because in the very, very beginning, a long time ago, I remember dropping a few caps and I didn't mark it, you know? So I had a hard time figuring out where it went. Luckily, I had the manual, so it took me some time to figure it out. Yeah. So that's another tip of the day for you. Just use a marker and just mark the polarity of this thing. If you want to mark the plus or you want to mark the minus, it's up to you. Okay, so the parts came in and I installed the caps on the power supply. These are two 2200 microfarad 40 volts caps. So now I'm gonna power up the unit. Oh, of course I got to put the fuse in because I took it out before. Okay, so I'm gonna power up the unit and check the supply voltages to ensure that everything went well on the power supply. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, let's see. First, we got to plug it in. Got to plug it in first. Okay. Okay, so we have power. Capstan motor is spinning. Lights are on and all that. Okay, so let me. So we are supposed to get 21 volts down here and 24 to 26 volts up here. Okay, 21.37 volts. That's good. Next, we're going to check up here and make sure we have proper voltage. 26.6 volts. Okay, so we're good there as far as power goes. Okay. So next thing I'll be doing is to recap the entire thing. But I do it in stages. I do one card at a time, and then I plug the card back in and make sure everything is working. Then I move on to the next card. Do the same thing, recap, plug in, check the unit that it's working again. Next card, same thing, next card, next card, next card. The reason is that if you recap one card and you test it with the unit back on and something goes wrong, then you know exactly where to look. So if I recap this card or this card, plug it in and it doesn't work, something doesn't work, then I know to come back on that card. So that makes troubleshooting much easier to do when you go through it methodically like that. No hurry, just take your time. And of course, the pros, they all know this already, so I'm just giving newbies and DIY people a tip. All right, so I'll keep you posted as to the progress as I go along. I'll keep you up to date. All right.